Good morning. I'm Tracy Martirana from Holistic Wellness with Tracy, and today I'm inviting you into my kitchen while I make frittata. Whether you call it frittata or crustless quiche, I find it's the perfect breakfast food to serve to a crowd. So whenever we have company, I almost always make either frittata or quiche for breakfast. But it also makes a great brunch or dinner. You can serve it with normal breakfast foods like bacon and toast, or I like to serve it with a salad. You could have it even as a side dish along pretty much anything you can come up with. You can even just have it as a snack. One of the things I love about frittata is it uses all of the leftover veggies that I might have in my crisper drawer. So I could just sort through and see what do I have, and whatever I have, that's what's going into the frittata. It's also great as a make ahead breakfast. So if you are trying to eat healthier, trying to get more veggies into your meal plan, making a veggie frittata or quiche is a great way to cook on Sunday or whenever you have extra time to spend in the kitchen and have breakfast ready for the week. So join me, let's get cooking. I'm going to start by preheating my oven. I'm just going to do 350 and call it good. I have a cast iron pan that I'm going to use, but really you can use any pan that's oven safe. So anything that just doesn't have like a rubberized handle that you can put in the oven at 350. And then let's just get started with chopping and assembling. So I have a few potatoes. These are just little baby potatoes that I had left over from a meal I made. I think I had like 6 of them maybe. So I just cooked them up and chopped them into small pieces. I have a lone little tiny piece of broccoli, a chunk of onion. I do have a whole jalapeno, one tiny, well, actually it's fairly decent size, but one lone mushroom that got missed while I was cooking a mushroom stroganoff, or I'm sorry, a mushroom Wellington the other day. So that got left behind, so I will use that. And then in my freezer, I have this bag of sliced bell pepper that I put in there in the fall. I had a few extra peppers, so I just sliced them up and froze them. So I'm going to use that. I have a little bit of cheddar cheese, shredded cheese sitting in my fridge, so I'll use that, and a bunch of eggs. Now you can make this as big as you want. So you can use a bigger pan if you want to make a bigger frittata. And even in the smaller pan, I can make it thicker or thinner depending on how many eggs I use. I usually assume a pan this size is going to give me probably 4 pieces. So I want to make sure that each piece is probably about 2 eggs. So I'm going to do 8 eggs in my pan. So let's get started. I'm going to start, let's see, getting my pan warming with some oil. I just used olive oil. But you can use whatever oil you like. Coconut oil would be good. Let that warm while I chop up. So I'm just going to chop my little bit of onion. I like the pieces to be fairly small so that I'm getting more in each bite instead of just occasionally a piece of onion. That fell a little. So chop it small. Chop the jalapeno. Now, depending on how hot you want your dish, you can either leave a jalapeno out. And you don't have to use a jalapeno. And if I didn't have one, I wouldn't have used one either. The more membrane that you use, the hotter it will be. So if you want a little bit of heat, but not much, you can cut your pepper in half and scoop out all the membrane and the seeds. I don't mind a bit of heat, so I'm leaving all of the seeds and membrane right in. That looks good. Let's see, get rid of just a little bit of this. I'm gonna chop up stem and all. There's nothing wrong with a broccoli stem. And just sort of rough cut. I don't worry about making them all nice and pretty because they're going to be mixed in with the egg. You'll see them, but it's not like they're on display on the top of a salad or something. And we'll chop up this mushroom. I'm just gonna slice it and dice it. Again, you can make the pieces as small or as large as you want. I like them a little bit on the smaller side. Let's see, I'll get the onion in to start that cooking. The onion, the pepper, the broccoli, those are all going to take a little bit longer, but none of this takes long at all. I mean, it's really just needs a few minutes to start cooking, to soften up a little bit. We just don't want to bite into raw onion in the middle of our eggs. And then I'll chop up these peppers. And again, when it comes to the amount of veggies, I use whatever I have. I've made them with just a handful, so it's mostly eggs with just a little sprinkling of veggies because I didn't have much. I've also loaded it up so that the pan is pretty much full of veggies, and I'm just trying to fill all the spaces in between with enough egg to hold it together. So do what you like. Obviously, the more veggie content, the better it is for you. But you do you. And then I'm just going to pop these in here, pop it all in. Quick rinse of my hands. Now, just for good measure, I'm going to add a little salt, pepper, and a little garlic powder just because I have that right here on hand. You could really spice this however you want. It doesn't need much. I will say eggs and dried basil go really well together. If you have some basil. Since I put the jalapeno in here, if I had cilantro, I could add in some fresh cilantro, maybe even a little cumin, give it a little Mexican flavor. Could add black beans and make it sort of southwestern. But I'm just going to do these veggies, salt, pepper, a little bit of garlic. That's all it really needs. So I'm going to let that just cook a little bit. The fire's on low, so nothing's going to get too hot. I'm going to hold on to the potatoes for a few minutes. And while that's cooking, I'm going to beat up some eggs. Now my plan had been to do 8 eggs, but when I just opened up my egg carton, I see that I only have 7. So 7 is what we're doing today. Use what you have. It's very adjustable. Now, while I do frittata, I like to add a little milk to my eggs. If you don't have milk, any sort of milk substitute will work, or even a little splash of water. Today, I actually only have half and half. I'm not going to use a lot, a little splash. It's probably maybe a quarter of a cup. And I'm just going to beat these together. Add a little more salt and pepper directly to the eggs this time. Now my veggies are looking pretty tender. Nothing's browned or anything. We're just trying to soften them up a little bit. So I'm just going to spread them out over the pan, trying to get them off so nothing's stuck up on the side of the pan. Add my cheese directly to my eggs. I'm going to do, that's what? This is probably about a half a cup. that I'm adding. Do more or less depending on what you like. I'm going to add my potatoes in, just sort of spread them around. And then before I add the eggs, I'm going to do one more round of oil. So I'm trying to do it up on the edge of my pan, just to help to prevent some sticking. Mix that together and pour it over. Just zhuzhing it around a little bit, trying to make sure my cheese is all distributed, that all my veggies are down in the eggs. What it looks like. I'm just going to allow this to cook for just a minute here. Not long, just enough to maybe set up on the bottom just a little bit, and then stick it in the oven. And then I just let it bake until it's cooked through. So the frittata is complete. Doesn't that look delicious? You can see all the pretty veggies in it, the chunks of potato. You could top this with salt and pepper, some fresh herbs, parsley or cilantro would be delicious. I don't have any, but if I did, it would be yummy. Looks kind of hot. Good stuff. Thanks for joining me. Again, my name is Tracy Martirana, and I use my knowledge of nutrition, Ayurveda, yoga, herbs, and meditation to bring you information and inspiration so you can live a healthy, happy, and balanced life. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button, watch some of my videos, like them, share them with your friends. Doing so lets YouTube know that people are interested in content like mine. Thanks, and have a great day.